Okay, in a moment we are going to be listening to an amazing panel discussion by some brilliant people that are going to become bigger. But it's been a long time since we did a panel discussion, and I'm looking forward to this right now. Before I introduce the speaker who is going to be conducting the panel discussion, I would like to invite evaluator Toastmaster Anandan to come here and introduce the project and projects.
So this is really going to be a wonderful session where we are going to have a lot of brainstorming, ideas coming out, I think so. And Mr. Ramesh sir has done a lot of homework last night fully in his sleep. He was noting down all the points and his wife was asking what's happening. No, tomorrow panel discussion, I am the panel leader. So he's coming in to be the leader. We warmly welcome Ramesh as a panel leader.
Let me introduce the pathways and the pathway and the project also. Toastmaster Ramesh is doing presentation mastery level 5 project 1, and the objective of the project is to conduct an effective panel discussion. And please put your hands together for Toastmaster Ramesh. Future of leadership. Toastmaster Ramesh.
Very good morning all of you. This is my level 5 project 1. I am here to conduct a panel discussion with a few selected eminent people to be part of the panel discussion. And this topic is very close to my heart. It is all about leadership, what we usually practice, and everybody is very familiar about it. So how many of you are leaders here? So everyone. So let us listen to the experts speaking about that subject, and let me invite the panelists to the dais. I would like to invite Toastmaster Karthikeyan, Toastmaster Monica, Toastmaster Carolyn, and Toastmaster John. So next 20 minutes, this particular topic is on future of leadership. What has been the yesteryears of leadership? What is the current trend? And what we could expect? Because leadership is not stagnant. It keeps changing, it keeps evolving. Whatever leadership that we have practiced earlier are obsolete now. Now it's the generations are changing, the mindset is changing, and we are just going to look into the nitty-gritties of leadership through the questions that we ask the expert panels. I have listed a few questions to be asked to the panelists. The first and foremost is on the yesteryear's leadership. To my first panelist, Toastmaster Karthikeyan, what do you see as the biggest strength of traditional authority-driven leadership styles?
Thank you, Toastmaster Ramesh. When we talk of leadership, it is better to talk of management aspect, because leadership is a very key component of the whole management spectrum. So, the history of management started with in the late 18th century with two proponents. One is F.W. Taylor and the other is Henry Fire. The first one is an American mechanical engineer, the second is a French scientist. F.W. Taylor's principle was very four. He listed, which was very concise and clear. Whereas Fire insisted on unity of command. There were 14 principles of Fire. He insisted on unity of command. So that is where the authority-driven leadership comes in. What are the advantages of authority leadership driven style is See, first of all, who gets authority? Is that this hierarchy, like the kings get, the prince gets the authority from the king as a descendant. Democratically, some people get authority elected. And there are reference authority. These people become extraordinary experts in a particular field and they become authority. Moral authority, like Gandhi was a Machiavellian saint, so he derived his authority from being extremely moral. So when you have an authority who is a leader, the advantages are it is clarity and direction. Unity of command is one leader, so there is no confusion. The clarity and direction is there. Secondly, efficiency in a crisis situation because the decision can be taken fast by the individual without any loss of time. And it is very useful in disaster management, military situation and all that. And consistency and stability, strong accountability, useful for inexperienced people. So, useful for inexperienced team, vision execution. See, very luckily and coincidentally, India went through this process. When we became independent soon after the Mughal and British rules, we were really beggars. We were so poor. All the wealth has been plundered by the Australian rulers. And what we needed was a single unity command, a leader who can be trusted and who can lead the nation. And that is when we are lucky to have good people like Nehru and Shastri and all, who led the country with a single motto of develop the country, which was totally down and out at that time. So, for the advantages of authority-driven leadership we have seen, but where it will succeed is it should have a compliance-heavy environment. That means people should obey the leader. If there is a dissent, if there is a revolt, this style will not work. But this will be very useful in a situation like a military or crisis or what India went through soon after independence. We were really down and out and we needed a leader, sort of a lighthouse who can lead the light, who can guide the people who are astray. So it really succeeded. So these are the advantages of authority-driven leadership which was very close. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Karthikeyan, for the wonderful insights. And now the question is to Toastmaster Monica. Do you think the command and control model was effective in older organizations? Why or why not?
Yes, thank you, Toastmaster Ramesh. I personally think command and control model was effective in earlier decades. Earlier decades in the sense at post-independence period. In the post-independence, to me personally, leadership is all about mindset. When we got independence, we were in the mindset that whatever a leader says, we should obey. If we are obeying a person, then he is a leader. We were in that mindset only. And the industrial revolution did not take much space in India. So, for traditional manufacturing units or units which were not related to service, this command and control model was super successful. This mindset not only impacted the industrial side, these values were reflection of the family values that were practiced in India at that point of time. So when you talk about command and control, we used to think about Appa or father. We used to think him as a leader. So basically, after the independence, we were in a thought that whoever commands, whoever demands respect, he is a leader. So to me personally, that was one successful model of leadership. This model of leadership was well executed because there was no need to innovate anything. All the works which were done by the people were repetitive in nature and they did not require any creativity in the work that they were doing. But this command and control leadership formed a strong base for other types of leadership which we are practicing today. This type of leadership gave the sense of discipline and accountability when compared to other types of leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monica. Now, I would like to ask Toastmaster Carolyn about the hierarchy and seniority that the earlier leaders believed in. So what parts of that still work out?
So as we know, our country was under the British rule for close to 100 years. And the British, if you look at their way of managing things, they have a very, their role in leadership is very mighty, because there's a saying that says that the sun never sets on the British Empire. So they used power, they used brute force to occupy the entire world. And many of these leadership qualities they left behind in our country also. They did amazing work. But still, if they had not used that brute force, it would have been very difficult for them to execute all their plans. And if you see, the king or the queen of England is also the head of the Church of England. And there's a lot of biblical teachings and qualities also that they take up to use. So they have these Puritans. Puritans are very, very, extremely focused, and they're very religious, hyper-religious people. And they were also instrumental in shaping the general public and the rulers, and they inculcated those values to bring about a lot of reforms at a very high price. So any ruler for that matter, even if you look at Hitler, though there's always a negative connotation to him, he inspired people through his life, and he actually thought, he made the Germans think that, yeah, I'm going to be a beacon of light, I'm going to bring about reformation. So because he was able to inspire those people, he was also able to, achieve a lot of innovations in his lifetime.
Thank you, Toastmaster Carolyn, for the wonderful insights that you have given. Now the question is to Toastmaster John. So if you could bring one leadership behavior of earlier generations, what would it be?
All of them, when they spoke about directive leadership, saying command and control kind of leadership. Now you know what exactly happens. I've seen this, like everybody says it's bad and all of that, but there are still fans for Hitler, fans for Subhash Chandra Bose, fans of in biblical times Pharaoh. But it's not just about fans, but there are two things that I want to tell. One thing is there are certain ways people like to be led also. Like in the Bible times, Moses had to tell them, saying, let's go this way, and they had to just follow. And so that is one way. And that was the era where people just said, the leader will not make a mistake. If he says something, I will do it. If it goes wrong, I will still stand by it and I will do it. Right now, either in the parenting side or the management side, in all of these places, the power is going from there to here, which is making chaos also, because we are not used to that. And these followers, as much as they are asking, saying, give me the power, I want to take decisions and all of those things. When you give it to them, they are like, what do I do with this power right now? So, some kind of fine line between a directive leadership and empowering them to take decisions should be there. So that directive leadership is something, I think in Toastmasters also, in a very subtle way, there is this beautiful hierarchy that is there, saying, hey, they are the president and I am supposed to listen to them. This is the area director and I am supposed to listen. Though they are not directive, the system there is still saying, this is the way to do it and please do it that way. That I think should be there. Right now, we are, in the name of getting out of that style of leadership, we are getting into a lot of chaos. And even the followers are like, please tell me what I should be doing, I don't know what I do. So I think that little bit of that should be there. Rules.
Thank you, Toastmaster John, for the wonderful insights. So whatever these panelists have spoken about the yesteryears, it is very clear that there is an authoritative approach that has happened over the years. Listen to me what I say. There is one single point of command from the top. It is basically top-down approach. The directions comes from the top, should be abided by the subordinates. So that's how it is, and it has worked very well. And to put systems in place to make things better, this approach to a certain extent is very powerful. Now, things are changing. Generations are changing. They wanted to be treated differently. The leadership styles are totally different. The way they look at the leadership is totally different. Now, the next part, we just look into the today's leadership styles. Toastmaster Karthikeyan, how leadership has changed in the last decade at workplaces, as it has become technology driven also right now.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ramesh. So, when the authority-driven leadership style starts failing, then you have to find another way of leadership. Because, as I said in the previous lecture, the authority-driven leadership would succeed only if the context is right. That means you have a complaint society or followers to listen. When India became independent, people were very poor, they were not educated, so they were eager for a leader to listen to and follow, blindly, sometimes reasonably. But then the level of education and the economics started going up. You cannot expect the same thing. People were submissive earlier. They will not be, once their education comes, they have the economic freedom to be questioned. Then authority-driven leadership will start failing. So that is when the present modern leadership style is coming to effect. This is more based on what they call as DEI. This is diversity, equity and inclusion. Because we had one leader, now we have several leaders. In simple words, we had a pyramidal structure, now we have a class structure. Instead of one leader, we have 10 leaders, which means there is diversity of thinking, the equity of power distribution, and inclusive of everybody in the process. So this shift has taken in the last 1 decade, and the essence of this is adaptability, inclusivity, and digital fluency. Because as the leadership style changes, the leaders also should equip themselves with digital knowledge and technology. Otherwise, they will be lacking. But now, no leader can say, I don't know Excel or I don't know artificial intelligence. He will not be recognized as a leader, nobody will follow. And also for him to bring about reforms and innovate, this is required. So that transformation also very naturally and incidentally took for India. Like people like Rajiv Gandhi and Narsimha Rao took over from people like Nehru and Shastri. That transformation was smooth. We have changed from the old style of leadership to the current style of leadership.
Thank you, Toastmaster Karthikeyan. Now the question is to Toastmaster Monica. Now the employees expect transparency and inclusion, as Toastmaster Karthikeyan said. How does this change leadership behavior?
There is a difference between manager and the leader. Manager works for both, but the leader concentrates on mission and vision of the organization to which he is working. Even in Toastmasters, we start a meeting by telling of the mission and vision. A person who is working for a goal will see only that part of the work, whether it is done or not. But a person who can see a holistic approach in what they are doing, if they can coordinate between the teams, then he becomes a leader. So, irrespective of what you are doing, if you can see the mission and work towards it, then you become a leader. So, when it comes to transparency and inclusion, a leader has certain things which should not be said to everyone. It may at times even disrupt the work also. So, if 10 people are there, if combined inputs are being given at a time, a leader will have his own style also. So, in those times, discussion becomes comfortable and a collective output can be taken. But at all points of time, it should align with the mission and vision of the organization which we are working for. And by giving transparency and inclusion, more than the job safety, a leader assures psychological safety for the people whom they are working with. They are free and confident enough to say what they are thinking in their mind. More than job security, people are searching only for psychological safety these days. And the benefits is people feel valued in the organization to which they are working for. And that's why when the choosing the top hierarchical positions, even though a person is earning more when compared to other person, he is not getting into that hierarchy. It is because a management clearly knows who is a manager and who is a leader. Only a leader can provide transparency and inclusiveness with certain limits. That works out in these cases.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monica. Now coming to Toastmaster Carolyn about the Gen Z employees, which challenges the traditional leadership. How do you see it and how leadership respond to that?
So there's a story of Ratan Tata. Apparently he was going for a meeting and the car broke down. And what happened is all the other people, they were having discussions, they moved away. But if you see, they were wondering where is Tata? But Tata was not to be found. He was under the car trying to help the person who was supposed to take them from point A to point B. So we also experience visionary leaders like that. And if you see again Tata, he was towards the end of his life, he was hanging around with one person called Shantanu Naidu. So he was his new Gen Z friend. So many times Gen Zs, they ask a lot of questions. Why? They want to know why. So a person who is much younger than you, when they keep asking, why are you doing this? Why can't it be done like this? When they ask that, you feel very threatened. You feel like as if you're being questioned, like they want to blow you apart. It can be natural curiosity. They have not seen this world with your eyes. So it is just their way of understanding. If we kind of have that being kind and that embracing attitude that actually nobody is a leader. If you know something better than another person, you may be considered a leader. But with the advent of technology and with the access to education, everybody knows everything. Earlier, a guru, he knew what each person required. Who is going to become a boatman? Who is going to become a fisherman? Who is going to be a warrior? Who is going to rule the country? The guru knew everything and he was able to impart wisdom to each person. But today, we don't need a guru. We only need respect. We need kindness. If we are going to live with another human being in this world, we need to be kind first and foremost and also submissive. And you need to have an internal locus of control. Many times what happens is when there is a hierarchy, there is a fight, there is a struggle. There are wars, just because one word was spoken, there is wars that this world has faced. So I think all of us have to have an internal locus of control. We need to kind of submit ourselves to authority when it is required.
Well said, Toastmaster Carolyn. Now, an interesting question to Toastmaster John. Is it really true that speed of the leaders is speed of the team in the current context?
So this is from my personal learning. I was very frustrated when I started my entrepreneurial journey that nobody is working like me. They are not owning it, they are not doing anything. And one of my mentors told me is, he said, John, you can never get an employee that works 100% for you. As an entrepreneur, what you should be thinking of is, if this job has to be done, how do I make it done by 3 to 5 people at a time so they can bounce off at each other. That means that doesn't mean that you have to hire 5 people for one position, but it's like saying have somebody who's running it, but have somebody to support them also, just in case this person goes away, the other person takes over also. This logic is from Tony Robbins. He's the one that says that. He says you cannot depend on one person for all the work, or like if you know the percentage of work that has to be done, you cannot expect that person to do 100% of the work. Now, this thought is a very new thought that has been coming in the recent times. So, the leader can set the speed, and then the followers will assume that the followers or the people in the company will do only 1/5 of that speed. And see where exactly that goes is the mindset that with which the leader should be working.
A different perspective. Thank you so much. So what we have seen in this particular discussion is, in the yesteryears it was all authoritative. In the current trend it is all very participative. You have to include people to get your things done. Now the leadership dynamics is changing from authoritativeness to participation. You are forced to. We talked about the transparency and inclusion. Or yesteryears there was no open house meeting. Now it's everywhere open house meeting. They wanted information. Everyone are eager to give their opinions, voice out their opinions. And as leaders, the current trend leaders, they need written determination and the patience to listen. So the essence of present leadership is going to be patience and understanding. So this is the current trend. Now let's go into the tomorrow. We don't know what is going to be tomorrow. And we hear from the experts, from Toastmaster Karthikeyan. What new leadership skills will be essential when AI and automation takes over repetitive tasks?
Thank you, Mr. Ramesh. As everybody was saying, you are being chosen as for this topic. Yes, we are in the crossroads. We do not know how to proceed in the future about the leaders. People are craving for a good leader. They are so desperate for a leader, so much so that an actor is considered to do, is expected to do wonders. It is stupid for a state which has got the highest GER, the most educated state, but we are thinking that an actor can deliver fantastic results just because he is doing some fantastic things on the films. If you apply the same yardstick for all over the world, James Bond should become the president of the entire world because he can do wonders nobody can even imagine. But then there is lack of understanding of leadership. We are really confused now. There is absolutely chaos reigning over the leadership stage. Anybody can become a leader or not. So, and also with the advent of AI, everybody is thinking that AI is going to take over leadership, which is absolutely wrong because I just happened to see an interview by the authority in AI or our own Sundar Pichai. He said, don't trust AI tools. He was a pioneer in developing AI tools and he was telling don't trust AI tools, which is very, very true because all current leaders should have very good knowledge and understanding of AI tools, but use it only for decision making. Never in the history of management, the human interference and intervention is required more than now. If you let AI to rule over us, we are into disaster for sure. Human intervention is required. Just to sum it up, it says AI won't replace leaders, it will redefine them. Leaders should have knowledge and understanding of AI, how to use it for their effective leadership, but AI will not replace leaders, it only will redefine them. Thank you.
Thank you so much for a powerful statement what you have given to us. Now, Toastmaster Monica, how do you see leadership evolving in the next 10 years?
After coming to Toastmasters, I personally experienced this. Leadership is not at all about commanding, it is all about mentoring. A leader is a person who can create a legacy. You are a leader not because of the position or the title, if you have the ability to create another leader. Only if you can create another leader or a legacy, you can be a leader. To become a leader in these days, you require emotional intelligence very much. Emotional intelligence in the sense, you should have more of empathy. You should have ears to what the other person is actually going through instead of jumping into conclusions and start advising them, telling, I am a leader, I know, you don't say anything. You just need to listen to them, and then you can tell your opinions based on the experience that you have gone through, and to suggest them that if you could avoid this, it would be better. You need not be a leader to plunge into action or decision making. You can be a mentor and allow them to take the decisions of their own. And with this fast evolving trend, leadership is all about the mindset. These days we are not going to the office even. Work from home is the new technique. We do not know what will happen in the future also. So in old movies and all, we'll see if a leader or a manager comes by 9:30, 9:25, the entire office will be there. Now it is entirely changed. A leader should have command only in the emotional aspect of the people with whom they are working with, and not on their physical presence. And with regard to AI, I am a person who believes in instinct over intellect. So we can use AI as a backup with data and facts. At all points of time, I believe AI can be proved wrong, but my instincts can never be proved wrong. So AI can be helpful, but our instinct should be very strong. And the type of leadership which I would always prefer is adaptive leadership. No matter what, the type of business, anything can change. But you should be capable enough to adapt. Only if you can adapt, you can be a leader. Ratan Tata is one of the biggest examples for that. So I personally believe in Ratan Tata's word. Don't take decisions and go by it. Sorry, don't take right decisions. Take decisions and make them right. That's it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now the next question goes to Mr. Carol. Will future leaders need more emotional intelligence or technological intelligence?
Yes, very, very strongly believe in the verse actually from the Bible. It says there is nothing new under the sun. So we've been here many, many times. Only thing is, today the reach that technology is here as a superpower has gone to the grassroots level people. That's the only difference. And when the locomotive engine was first discovered and when it started running, people were very aghast. They were surprised. So there's a giant serpent. That's what they called it. Today, AI also looks very monstrous to us. We watch Terminator, we watch all this, and we feel that okay, AI is going to come and get it. But I don't know how many of you have done it. Sometimes when you ask ChatGPT or Gemini a question, it gives you ridiculous answers. I am usually trying to be as polite as I can, and I tell thank you, welcome and all to Gemini and ChatGPT. But once I lost my cool, it's like, Gemini, what's wrong with you? You can't say this. That's absolutely ridiculous because they, there's another movie called Humans on the Loop. It's on Netflix. It shows like what is fed is what these AIs process. Somebody has fed it something, and that is what it is vomiting in one sense. So it may not be okay for your situation always. So yeah, it is here to say, it is here to stay, and we need to be familiar with it and all. But you need to keep your fingers crossed. You can't actually believe in the thing that AI is going to take the world by storm, and then humans are going to be here any day better than.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Now the final question is to Toastmaster John. What does future leadership look like, and how can we prepare for its starting?
No, I think all of them very beautifully said this, but before I continue, I would say please say sorry and thank you to ChatGPT because when it takes over, it will be nice to you. So future AI, again, I think we should say sorry and thank you to our younger generation also. But one thing that I have been noticing recently, how many of you here know 6-7? 6-7. You don't know? Okay, so sorry. 6-7 is a new viral movement that the children are creating already, and we don't even know that. You go to a youngster and tell this number 6-7, they will become really happy because there is this movement that they do when we say 6-7. Anytime they hear this number, they do this movement. And it's very interesting because it started online and it went offline. Okay, so what happened was like what I see from there is like all the things that we had started offline and went online. So we started creating videos and all of this. But right now you go to a place where children are there and say 6-7, immediately everybody will come together and do this action. It means nothing. Nobody knows the meaning of it. You say the number and they will do this action. Now, what I'm arriving at is the future of leadership. If it's inhuman for us to lead, follow, direct, like do things together and all of that. Children have found their own way of doing it. The way they do it might change, but the system might not change. Like while you were talking all of this, I was thinking about how Moses had 12 or 13 different groups and then subgroups and managing. It's still happening right now also. The way changes, the system changes, the technology changes, but still that there are some people that says please direct me, there are some people that says you tell me I will do it, there are some people that says I am here to tell you. All of you know to make dosa, right? Yeah. Why is Alanka still making dosa? If AI will do all these things, though AI can do all these things, experts will stay experts always. People will always go to somebody to get this done. They won't just say, oh, I can make videos with AI, I don't need a video editor. They will not say, video editor who is using AI will take over, that's all. That's
So thank you, Toastmaster John and the entire panelist. It was a wonderful discussion what we had so far. And we were discussing about the yesteryears of authoritativeness. And today's trend is participative and future is going to be intellectual. You have to be intellectual in handling leadership. You have to get adapted, as Toastmaster Monica said. Leadership is changing. We need to get adapted to ourselves. Title is not going to make you leaders. The way you carry yourself, the way you are going to contribute, the way you are going to give opportunities for others to grow will make you leader. So thank you so much. With this, I would like to conclude my panel discussion and my heartfelt gratitude for all the 4 expert panelists for your thoughts. Thank you so much.
Our council, please note, he's been using the word expert more than 5 times.
What about
so,
leaders?
yeah, we'll take leaders again. Yeah. So we'll take 1 minute silence for the evaluator to make notes. Your 360-degree evaluation form is there in the WhatsApp group. Please go through and give your feedback to this panel discussion also.